Hey, my name is Emery from Bizz Comics. Welcome everybody to the Hive. This is another episode of randomly selected comic book reviews. If you didn't watch the previous one, the point is I go to a comic book store, we pick out a couple of comics based on pretty much just the cover. The rule is that it has to be a first issue, and that's pretty much it. This week, pick up a couple of comics, and randomly they turned out to be on a farm with farm animals, or someone with farm animals, and it became pretty interesting, the stories with aliens and whatnot. The first one, I hate this place. I really like the cover because it reminded me of Sweet Tooth, and it is like very much not like Sweet Tooth. If you're not familiar with a Sweet Tooth comic, and I think it's on Netflix as well. It's a TV show, but I just can't remember where. I think it's a Netflix show. And the Sweet Tooth is like a completely different story with children and mutants. And just based on the cover, I thought this was something similar, and it is very much nothing like that. It is by Image Comic, I think. Image Comics. Yeah, it's based. It's by Image Comics, made by Kyle Starks, Artyom Toplin, and Lee Loffridge. If I butchered your name, I apologize. My bad. The story takes place. Somebody inherits. In the first couple of pages, there is a bad guy immediately, and then the story goes into a couple traveling to this farm. If I remember correctly, one of them inherits this farm from somebody, and as soon as the night falls, weird things start happening, and there is a really funny ending to it. Well, not funny, haha, but there is like a weird ending to it when they bring back the bad guy from the beginning, and it is pretty cool. I don't want to ruin it because it's cool, but he kind of looks like a nice guy, but he isn't. And well, I don't know, because I only read issue number 1, so I don't know. I assume it's gonna be a bad guy because he was a bad guy to begin with, but we'll see. The art, it's a normal classic comic look. I definitely enjoyed it, and yeah, it's like weird. I don't know. Very interesting ending. Okay, so the other comic book that I picked up is called Hunt for the Skinwalker by Boom Studios, and the artists were Zach Thompson, Valeria Borzo, and Jason Verdi. And also, the things are happening on a farm by a cow rancher. It's very funny because a couple of months ago I never heard about cow mutilation before, and I watched some kind of weird documentary on the History Channel about cow mutilation. And this one also has some kind of weird things with aliens and shootings and whatnot. So very interesting. I remember UFO things when I was a teenager, or a young teenager. The X-Files and some other alien stuff. Crop circles, yeah, that was a big thing back in the 90s. I'm not sure where everything stands on crop circles, but it was very interesting as a kid. We were glued to the TV. X-Files, the same, then all these crop circles. We had crop circles in Hungary where I grew up, and apparently it was happening here also. But then they were busted, I think, on one of the talk show hosts. Like, they invited these 2 kids, young people, and they were apparently doing these crop circles. And I just remember as a kid, they were like, nothing happened for weeks and months. Like, nobody said anything, and they were like, all right, well, that didn't work out. And all of a sudden, it just blew up in the news, and they were everywhere. And I don't know, it was funny. Crop circles are real or fake, who knows? But it was definitely a big part of my childhood. And so were aliens. So, woo! And the last book is, I usually don't, I try to stay away from like mainstream publishers. They're just well known, right? Like, they don't need any kind of promotional stuff. Not that I'm any big promoter or anything, but you never know. But this book, it's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto. So it's like a mixture. Ninjas were also a big part of my childhood, so I definitely grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Vanilla Ice. And this is an interesting crossover with Naruto. Naruto, I did not know about Naruto when I was a kid. I definitely were introduced to Naruto in America. In the US, actually, I started reading mangas, I guess, when I came to America a lot more. The only manga or anime that I saw when I was younger was American Vampire Hunter D, which Scott Snyder is spinning in his grave. I'm just kidding, he's still alive. Vampire Hunter D was the first anime that I ever seen as a kid. I'm still a big fan. I have all the books. I watched the main movie that I saw a long time ago, and actually they just had a Kickstarter a couple of years, maybe like 2 years ago or last year even. That's how I was introduced to anime and manga just in general. And I came to America and I bought Shogun Jump or something like that, which was a very thick book. It was a collection of manga comics. What I'm trying to get it as, it was a black and white comic book, and I love black and white stuff. And Naruto, I use Naruto. I have a Naruto wall, and it's just anyway. I ripped apart this Shogun Jump book, and I used it to cover a wall. And I'm talking like 25 years ago, or I don't even know how long. But I covered a wall in every house I lived in with Naruto. So, and that I actually kept that tradition up even now. After so many years, I still have a wall in my house. So that was my introduction to Naruto. And of course, over time, I learned what it is, and it's about ninjas and stuff, and it's cool. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, which is a pretty big city. And the local comic book store was bringing this artist in that I never heard about. And Caleb Gollner, who actually wrote the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto crossover. So I met him personally. We had I talked to him for like 5-10 minutes. He's a really cool dude. I think he lives in LA. And it was interesting because we started talking about the weather. Florida and LA are completely different. Florida is a very tropical climate, where LA is not so much. I'm not even sure what kind of climate LA is, but Florida is tropical. And he's from LA, and he was telling me how clean the air is in Florida. And I don't know, to me Florida always smelled like a swamp, which kind of what Florida is. He's a super cool dude, so I had a good time with him. I talked to him for a little bit. The comic was published by IDW Publishing and Nickelodeon. I don't know if what the ownership is there, but I guess maybe Nickelodeon owns some of the rights. The story was written by Caleb Gollner, and the artists were Raul Angulo, Henry Presetia, and Ed Dukeshire, and Nathan Widdick. I don't know, I probably murdered all those names. But anyway, the story is super cute. If you never read any kind of Turtle, Ninja, or Naruto stuff, I don't think you would be lost. I think it's a pretty good standalone story as it is. Well, I only got the first copy. I also have a signed version of it by Gollner. So anyway, it's just a good looking comic book to pick up for sure. All right, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.